Hey, Pat Rigsby here, and in today's episode, I want to talk with you about seasonality and sprints. Let's get started. Welcome to the Fitness Business School podcast, the show for fitness business owners who want to grow their income, increase their impact, and improve their lifestyle. Be sure to listen till the end of this episode because we have a brand new special offer exclusive for listeners. So stay tuned. One thing that we've taken to doing over the last few years is kind of changing the way that we plan and organize our time. A lot of people gravitate to doing things on a quarterly calendar. A gentleman that I'm friends with, Todd Herman, created this wonderful program called the 90-Day Year that I think is amazing. But for me, I tend to do best if I think of things in terms of 6-week cycles. And the reason that works for me is basically we've got 8 6-week cycles during the course of a year. And in my case, I tend to probably operate more on like 7 6-week cycles. So there's like a little bit of a buffer in between them, right? So there's like a transition week between those cycles. And my logic is that it's just how my life operates, how the people that I'm around, the business owners, my family, their lives tend to operate a little bit more that way than just slicing the year into 4 pieces. And the beauty of it for me is it's far easier for me to be a realist in projecting what I can accomplish in 4 weeks, what'll be relevant in 6 weeks, what my schedule looks like in less than 2 months, than it is for me to think way farther ahead. And I tell you, like thinking 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, in that 6-week cycle, not everything has a 6-week deadline, right? Like some are things like, what am I doing the next 2 weeks? What am I doing the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks? But we can see things far more clearly the closer they come. I mean, that's just the nature of life, right? Like if somebody is walking towards you, it's easier to make out the details the closer they get. So that's how we tend to operate. And we've put this in our coaching programs. I mean, we give people planners to use. We run 6-week cycle planning sessions where we guide them through how to plan the next 6 weeks. And what's great is even if somebody's been off track for a little bit, there's always a new 6-week cycle coming up that's not too far down the road that they can kind of get back on track and get a reset. So the 6-week cycles I think have been absolutely wonderful for me, for my business, and for the people around me. Now, the thing that I kind of touched on when I introduced this episode is there's the 6-week cycles and then there's what I call a sprint. So during the course of the year, there are probably 2 windows of time that I would consider myself in like sprint mode. The season of life that I'm in, when school starts back for the boys, and as I record this, I mean, Tyler's entering his senior year in college. Alex just started 7th grade. And so about the time they're starting back with school or the typical school year starts, I start a 6-week cycle, and realistically, there are probably going to be like 2 in a row that I would consider sprints, where it's a really strong focus on locking in, having a consistent routine, growing the business, driving people into programs, because I know that's also on the mind of the people we serve. And I think that it's always important for us to be in tune with that. I mean, you can sell whatever you want to people, but if they're not in buying mode, it doesn't matter. I mean, selling Christmas decorations in May is probably not a great way to run a business. And if you can sync up with the behavior of the market that you have and your behaviors line up accordingly, then there's far more opportunity for you. So we get into sprint mode. For us, school typically starts in August. I know some people get into school and it starts in September. Somewhere in August is the first of usually what amounts to a couple 6-week sprints in a row where things are done with more urgency, there's more of a strong push, and there's probably a more kind of systematic routine of getting better at something, getting things done with consistency. Now, the opposite of that, there are still 6-week cycles going on in my business during the middle of the summer, during that window between Thanksgiving and New Year's. But those cycles look different. I'm adapting to that season of life where the routine is less consistent. The daily schedule is more in flux. And I do that because that's the way that life works for me and those people that I'm closest to. I'm not a big believer in planning something that just doesn't line up with any sort of actual path to achievement. I think that you can write stuff out, and it's like people who write goals and say, you know what, we're going to add $1 million to our top line revenue this year, but their business did $15,000 last year. Like, I'm a big believer in realistic goals that you can see a path to attainment that is clear as long as you're willing to go the distance on the path. And so these cycles line up with the way that I know that I'm going to operate. I know that during the summer, we're going to have more baseball and vacations and a different sort of schedule. During that Thanksgiving, Christmas kind of break time, we're going to have different schedules with holidays and travel and spending time with family members and that sort of stuff. And so we adapt accordingly. And it doesn't mean you don't work. But it also means that you plan for the environment you're going to be in. And you try to spend your time maybe improving stuff. You're in sprint mode for revenue production, new client acquisition in maybe September and October. Then maybe during that June, July, August window, that's when we're tightening things up and working on system installation. And that's how we try to approach things. We work on the things during the times that make the most sense. I know that when I travel, I tend to do a lot more creative writing. So I'll write things like promotional copy for programs and that sort of thing because it syncs with the way that I operate. So I wanted to roll this out because of a couple things. Number one, just giving you a different way to think about planning. Just not necessarily thinking, hey, I've got to do things quarterly, even if it's hard to forecast that far down the line and you don't get a handle on it. There's no reason to keep kind of beating your head against the wall if it doesn't work for you. I know it just didn't work for me at the level that I wanted to, and this works so much better. And then the second is, if you would like help in crafting out what your next 6-week plan would look like, I'm going to take a few people who are not currently clients and help them go through our planning process and sketch out an appropriate 6-week plan for them. So just shoot me an email at pat@patrigsby.com with plan in the subject line, and we'll set up a time where we can work on a plan together. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitness Business School. Before you go, I have a quick announcement. One of the things that we've been doing with our current clients is taking them through this ideal business diagnostic. And really what it is this checklist that allows you to pinpoint exactly what your business needs next so you can keep improving, keep growing, and build a business that you love to own. One that pays you well, one that allows you to have the impact you want to have, and one that allows you to have a lifestyle that you truly enjoy. In this diagnostic, we walk through everything and we do an evaluation and can instantly pinpoint what you need to do next to build that business that you want. I'm going to extend this opportunity to get on with either me or my team and take you through this evaluation and fix your business's most vital needs fast. So if we take you through this, you're going to be able to make those vital changes that you need to finally have what I call your ideal business. If you'd be interested in going through this entirely free, risk-free diagnostic with us and learn what you already have in place, what you're doing well, and where your greatest opportunities for rapid improvement are, just shoot me an email with diagnostic in the subject line to pat@patrigsby.com. Again, an email to pat@patrigsby.com with diagnostic in the subject line will get you scheduled and take you through this evaluation to help you build the business you want.